I reviewed the Nvidia Shield TV around the time that it released back in 2019, and then I touched on it again, maybe just a little bit later to talk about whether or not it was worth it back then. However, it's 2023 and the Nvidia Shield TV is 4 years old. Also, almost every single TV out there has smart capabilities already, which does make it seem like a streaming box just isn't something that most people need. However, there is a lot more to the streaming box that makes a huge difference to me. Even in 2023, I still use the Nvidia Shield TV every single day on my smart TV. So is it worth it in 2023? Well, it depends on what you want. So let's dive right in. This video is sponsored by Mujoy, the makers of this amazing corner lamp that I have absolutely fallen in love with. So in the box, you're going to find a power adapter, a control panel for controlling the lights while offline, a giant metal and super heavy base that holds and powers the lights as well. And then as you go further, you're going to find the light strips and the support columns for the full setup. So building this was incredibly easy, as all it took was just plugging the light strips into the base, and then you just screw the support columns in until all of them are positioned properly. And then once that's done, you can work with the light strips and they easily attach to the columns without any issues. It literally could not get any easier for me. So when everything is finally set up, you've got some beautiful lights for your background that you can customize to your liking. Through the AI Dot app, you can adjust the color temperature, the lighting profiles and presets, the colors, and more. These are fully customizable and operate over Wi-Fi as well, which is great. I think these lights look incredible in my background, as you will be able to see, and you're going to start seeing them every time that I record a video in the garage here. So if you want to spice up your own setup, you absolutely can through my affiliate link below. This is a great set that's worth every penny, and I can strongly recommend it after having such a comfortable experience setting this up, and now that I do have it up and running, I'm so happy with it. So links in the description, and thank you to Mujoy for sponsoring this video. The exterior design consists of plastic, and obviously this is going to be totally fine. This is a very thin device with a little bit of heft to it. This will be sitting on my table forever, so it doesn't really matter too much how it's built, but it's still pretty good. There's going to be an indicator light in the front that's green for showing that this is powered on. On the back, you're going to find an exhaust vent, 2 USB ports, an HDMI port, Ethernet port, and a proprietary power connector that looks like USB-C but isn't USB-C. Overall, I think that there are some things that could improve today about the exterior, but I will leave that for a little bit later. This device will come with this remote, and it is going to be a very comfortable to use remote that is battery powered, so the batteries have not died on me in the past 4 years as far as I can remember. This remote will also light up whenever it gets moved, so it only lights up when there is actual activity or movement coming from the controller itself, or the remote I should say. I really like this media remote, and I think that it works really nicely. Now, Nvidia does have a controller that you can buy separately on places like eBay, but they don't make this anymore. This controller still feels pretty good though, and it is a unique controller to have around. The buttons feel great, the D-pad feels great, and the triggers are awesome too. It's a comfortable controller to use. There is even a volume slider in the middle, so there are some media controls on this controller as is. I still really like this controller, so I use it, but just use an Xbox controller instead for a simpler experience. Also, you can tell that this is an old controller considering that it has a micro USB port, so while I don't recommend this controller, I do still like it, but it's probably not worth bothering to buy. At this point, again, just use an Xbox controller instead. When it comes to the OS, you've got Android TV, but most specifically, you've got Shield Experience Upgrade 9.1, so this device is still getting updates as it should. The interface will look like how it does on almost any smart TV with Android TV. Everything is organized the same way, and it is a fairly intuitive interface to explore. You even get the Play Store to look for all of those apps and emulators that you need. So you're covered when it comes to every streaming app that you would want, essentially. This is going to be great, as the Android TV experience is still a great one on this device. When it comes to the streaming capabilities of this device, I think I would always prefer this device over most other ones. This still has a great value proposition, and it is thanks to the AI upscaling to upscale 1080p content to 4K. So this is particularly neat for more live action related content, but it's still nice to have for other types of content. This is the main reason why this device would probably be more ideal for streaming than just using your regular TV, but that will also just depend greatly. Either way, you got a fantastic streaming experience coming from your Nvidia Shield TV, and age hasn't really done anything to kill off this device even to this day. So you do get the ability to emulate games on this device too, which is something that I did quite a bit around the time that I just got it. Nowadays, I only use it for streaming content, but this can do so much more, really. You can use it as a Plex server. I never did, so I won't comment much on that. But anyway, as an emulator, you can work with quite a lot. You can get RetroArch installed or get standalone emulators to play your games. I have everything set up through RetroArch, and it does just make everything simpler. Not every system will perform that well though, so keep that in mind. N64, for example, doesn't run too well on this device, but something like PSP totally will. And speaking of which, performance with PSP is pretty good. It's not going to be perfect, mind you, but pretty good. Even with a game like Crisis Core or Final Fantasy VII, you get mostly smooth performance, but there are going to be some stutters here and there, and this is at 1x resolution. So yeah, this is going to be just at the base. I'm sure that a standalone emulator would perform better, but in RetroArch, you still get a lot of flexibility. And if you wanted to emulate other systems like GBA, SNES, PS1, and the like, then this device will definitely crush it. However, PlayStation 2 and GameCube performance is very much subpar, so I would not get this expecting it to emulate PlayStation 2 and GameCube very well. Only get it for PSP and below, I would say. But overall, this is a really neat emulation device, and a hardware upgrade could go a very long way here. Now let's go ahead and talk about game streaming through GeForce Now. This service is not perfect, and I do pay for it monthly, of course, but you will get some stutters based on your connection. As I tested something like Darksiders 3, for example, I did experience some stutters, but this was entirely due to my internet connection and not the hardware itself or the servers. It's just how my connection is set up. Under a better connection, it would have played more smoothly. But with that said, the fact that you can stream so many games onto this from Nvidia's own servers is really neat, and it can help turn this into a tiny little monster. It really does a lot for such a simple device, and that's just going to be at a first glance. But here are going to be some things that I would like to see be improved with a follow-up model, if they ever make one. For example, we could use a USB-C connection around the back for actual peripherals and other forms of storage. Speaking of which, I really wish that this particular model had a micro SD card slot for additional storage. Instead, I have to plug in a portable hard drive to get extra storage from it. I would also like to see a stronger Wi-Fi chip be implemented for a stronger connection, though maybe I just need a better router or to keep my router closer to me, so that is mostly a me issue. I would also love to see a new Nvidia controller that is either bundled with this or at least sold separately, because this is a really nice gaming device too, and having a first-party solution from Nvidia controllers would be really nice here. Also, we definitely need a hardware upgrade that will allow us to play more games. I would love to be able to emulate PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Wii on this device, as right now, it's not really feasible. So let's really boost the hardware capabilities of this device for a future model. So while I'm super happy with my Shield TV, I would definitely buy the next upgrade to this, and hopefully it will be a more substantial one if it even happens at all. But right now, this is one of the best streaming boxes you can buy today, and I can strongly recommend it as my favorite of the bunch. I think Nvidia does it best personally, so I would like to continue to support the Shield TV line. But I do think that if you want those gaming capabilities and the AI upscaling for content streaming, if you have a 4K TV, for example, then this is a really good value. So strongly recommend it. So thank you so much for watching this video all the way up until the very end. I do really appreciate it. I'm going to leave affiliate links down to Amazon in the description if I end up finding this on Amazon, but I should be able to. If you use my link to buy anything from Amazon, then you would be helping out the channel quite a bit. So I would really appreciate that, because it makes it easier to buy a lot of review units and that kind of thing. So again, I would appreciate your patronage in that regard. Also, I do have a Twitch where you should see me fairly soon. Grad school should be taken care of rather soon. And also, I am going to have an Instagram where you can follow me. You can message me over there also if you have any questions in particular. But you can also just leave any comments down below about the Nvidia Shield TV or anything else that could come in mind. But with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and until next time, enjoy.